Hello sir, my name is Vinoshan son of Elavarasu and my ID is 24389. So today I'm going to do a brief explanation about the selection program. So let's go to the definition part. A selection statement causes the program control to be transferred to a specific flow based upon the certain condition whether it's true or false. A selection statement has a loops of if else, nested if else and switch. So there's three loops inside the selection statement. The if else executes the codes inside the body of if statement if the text expression is true and skip the codes inside the body of else. Or if the text expression is false, so it executes the codes inside the body of else and it skips the codes inside the body of if. So I managed to do an example based upon a nested if and else loop. So let's go to the example. So here's my program. So first, include IO stream using the namespace standard. I initiate the main program. So firstly, I initiate first number and second number so that the programmer can enter two numbers. Cout enter two numbers. So the first number I see in the first number and the second for the second number. So then I give a space. Then I begin the loop. So if the first number is bigger than the second number, then if the condition is like true, the first number is exited the second number, so it continues the loop. Or it breaks the loops and go to the else statement where the second number is larger than the first number. So if the first number is bigger than the second number, it continues the loop to another loop which I managed to put. If the first number can divisible by the second number and there's no remainder, then it continues to the third loop. Or if there's a remainder whether it cannot be divisible evenly, so it doesn't continue to the third loop, it straight break and go to the else where they are not evenly divisible, then it will end the loop. So if the second loop's condition is satisfied where it's true, then it continues the third loop. If the first number is equal to the second number where the number is same, it comes out as they are the same. Or if the numbers that can be divisible and their numbers is different, so it comes out as they are evenly divisible. So I managed to put three if and else loop in this program so that it could be enough to satisfy the nested if and else. So if I execute the program, compile and run it, so my program succeeded. There's enter two number. So first I enter 20, then second number I enter 10. So they are evenly divisible because 20 and 10 are evenly divisible. So let me check with another example. So let's put 10, then second number also 10. See, the numbers are same, so they are the same. And let's try another number where the numbers are not evenly divisible. Okay, 12 and second number 5. So they are not evenly divisible. So my program succeeded so that I managed to do the if and else nested if and else statement. So that's my brief explanation about the selection program. So that's my example of nested if and else. Thank you, sir.
Hi, my name is Rohan. My matrix ID is 24222. Today I'm here to cover one of the subtopics of C++, which is repetition. Let's get to it. So programming languages provide various control structures that allow for more complicated execution paths. So in repetition means repeating a sequence of instructions a certain number of times or until some specific result is achieved. In programming, we have loops, and we have a few types of loops, which is while do, and for do. Oh no, wait. Hi, my name is Rohan, and my matrix ID is 24222. Today, I am here to cover one of the subtopics in C++, which is repetition. Let's get to it. So programming languages provide various control structures that allow for more complicated execution paths. So what is repetition? Repetition means repeating a sequence of instructions a certain number of times or until some specific result is achieved. In programming, especially in C++, we have a few types of loops. Among them is the while loop, the for loop, and the do while loop. So as you can see here, this is the flow chart for a loop structure. So when you come to the condition, if that condition is true, it will then proceed to execute the statements in the actual loop itself. And if this program has a counter, and when the loop comes back, and if the condition is not fulfilled, meaning the counter is less or more than the actual condition, it will then exit the loop and continue the preceding statements. So as you can see here, we have a very simple program. It is a shopping cart program. It basically calculates the total number of the total price of the items we bought, and it also calculates the average. So on the top, you can see that we have nothing out of the ordinary, just normal syntax. And I have globally initialized a few variables here at the top. And so the main part of the program, it prompts the user to enter how many items they bought. That value will then be kept in quantity. And when the loop here, this is the structure of a while do loop, where while and in between the brackets is the actual condition. So as you can see, counter is initialized as 1 on the top. So depending on the number of number of items I bought, let's say 3. So 1 will be less than 3, which means 1 is less than equals to 3, which means the condition is true and the preceding statements can therefore execute. So what will happen is the user will be prompted to enter the number, the price of item number 1. It will then be kept in num, and num will continuously be used to calculate the sum. The sum will be used at the end of the program. At the end of the loop, you will see a counter. This counter increases the counter by 1 every time it goes through the loop. So 1 less than equals to 3. So the number will go by 1, 2, 3. And for 1, 2, and 3, the statements in the loop will run because the condition is still fulfilled. So the last number is 4. When 4 goes into this condition, 4 less than equals to 3, that condition is now false. So what will happen is the compiler will then exit this loop and it will execute the following statements, which is to calculate average using the sum we got from the loop, and also it will see out the average and it would also show the sum of our shopping. So let's give it a go. Okay, let's say we buy 3 items. The price of number item 1 is 12, 34, 56. So as you can see, the average of the items we bought is 34.3, and the sum of our shopping is 103 ringgit. So the program does in fact work with the while loop. That's all. Thank you.
Hello sir, good morning. My name is Naaventhiran, son of Thamotharan, matrix ID 24211, and I'll be talking about function return value. So what is function? A function is a group of statements that together perform a task. Every C++ program has at least one function, which is main, and although most Java programs can define additional functions, we can understand this even deeper with the boss and worker analogy. A boss, the calling function or caller, asks a worker, the called function, to perform a task and return the results when the task is done. Hope this is clear. A C++ function definition consists of a function header and a function body. Here are all the parts of a function. There is a return type, function name, parameters, and a function body. Return type. A function may return a value. The return type is the data type of the value function returns. The functions perform the desired operation without returning a value. In this case, the return type is the keyword void. Function name. This is the actual name of the function. The function name and the parameter list together constitute the function signature. Parameters. Parameter is like a placeholder. When a function is invoked, you pass a value to the parameter. The value is referred to as actual parameter or argument. The parameter list refers to the type, order, and the number of parameters of a function. Parameters are optional, that is, a function may contain no parameters at all. Function body. This is the main part of a function. The function body contains a collection of statements that defines what the function does. Calling a function. While creating a C++ function, you give a definition of what the function has to do. To use a function, you will have to call or invoke that function. When a program calls a function, program control is transferred to the called function. The called function performs defined task, and when its return statement is executed or when its function ending closing brace is reached, it returns program control back to the main program. To call a function, you simply need to pass the required parameters along with function name, and if function returns a value, then you can store return value. Call types and description. There's three types. First is call by value, call by pointer, and call by reference. Call by value. This method copies the actual value of an argument into the formal parameter of the function. In this case, changes made to the parameter inside the function may have no effect on the argument. Call by pointer. This method copies the address of an argument into the formal parameter. Inside the function, the address is used to access the actual argument into the call. This means that changes made to the parameter affects the argument. Call by reference. This method copies the reference of an argument into the formal parameter. Inside the function, the reference is used to access the actual argument used in the call. This means that changes made to the parameter affects the argument. So now let's go into examples. As we can see here, in this program I have initialized A and B. Here B has been given a value of 20, and this is our function. Our function states that the result is it compiles A and B as a sum. Results equal to the sum of A and B. So this is our main body. In the main body, int A and B has been given value of 100 and 200. So this is where we call the function results equal to sum A and B, which means A and B is summed up. A plus B equals to 300, which is 100 plus 200. So in this outcome, we will get 300. In the second one, it shows results of sum A, which is 100, and here B is not stated, so it will be taking the value of 20. So 100 plus 20 is equals to 120. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, as we all can see here, it's been giving 320. The first outcome is 300 and the second value of 120. So I hope your sir understood what I've been saying here. That is all from me, and thank you.
Hello, my name is Wamadevan Nair, ID 24274, and today I'll be talking about function passing by reference. So the definition of function passing by reference means to pass the reference of an argument in the calling function to the corresponding formal parameter of the call function. So this line basically explains that passing by reference is basically it passes the variable's address to the main program when the function is being called there. Okay. Why are we doing this is because it is explained in the second line. The call function can modify the value of the argument by using its reference passing. So basically, whatever variable that has been declared in the function definition, and when it is being called in the main program, the formal parameters value or any initialization will modify or update itself according to the function. Okay. So modification made to arguments passed in by reference in the call function have effect in the calling function. So basically it just supports the second line here. Right, let's look at the program. Okay, so in this program, as you can see, I have declared a function called print. So void print, and then the variable of x as an integer, and you can see that there's a symbol n here. So this symbol basically indicates referencing, okay, the pass, so that it allows the function of passing by reference. Okay, and down here you can see that I've defined my function. So what I have done here is that I have declared two variables and initialized them with two values, y is equals to 2 and z is equals to 40, and therefore my argument says that x is equals to the multiplication of y and z. So using mental calculation, 40 times 20 is 80, so we are supposed to get 80. Okay, so I will output the product with the value of x, so we'll expect an output of 80. Then coming to the main body, I've declared and initialized the variable of num as integer and gave it a value of 50. And in my second line, I've stated that I'm going to output the product is equals to with the variable that I've just declared above. And then here comes the calling of my function that I've defined down here. I've called and insert the formal parameter of the variable num. Okay, and then followed by the fourth line, which basically is the copy of the second line. Okay, so let's look at the output. Alright, okay, so the output here explains the program. So in the beginning, I have, after the declaration of the variable of num, I have said that I'm going to output the product is equals to the num, and therefore it outputs the same value as what I have initialized. And then moving on to the called function, as you can see, the value displayed here is 80, and but as I have declared here 50, it is different. Why is that so? Because of this passed by reference thing. The x value basically it updates or modifies the parameter, the variable of num, to become the x and to follow the arguments that have been defined in this part of the program. Okay, that's why it displays 80. And then at the last line you can see that it outputs the same value of 80 for num, because as I said before, it has been updated and it remains that way until any other action has been taken to the variable. So that's all about pass by reference. Thank you.
Hello sir, my name is Sridaran and I like Thamil Selvan, and my ID is 24503, and the topic I chose is array. So without wasting time, let me straight go to the definition of array. Okay, array is a series of elements of the same type placed on contiguous memory locations that can be individually referenced by adding an index to a unique identifier. That means, for example, 5 values of type int can be declared as an array without having to declare it. Okay, when there's 5 different variables, each with its own identifiers. Instead, using an array, the 5 int values are stored in contiguous memory locations, that's what I said just now, and all 5 can be accessed using the same identifiers with the proper index. Okay, for example, this is how we declare an array. Double balance 5. We use double because we can use more than up to the point form. Okay, these are the values which we can assign. That means array from 0, then there's 5 values, so you declare 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. That means there's 5. So in that 5, you can actually declare as much integers as you want and any numbers you want. Next, allows you to store and work with multiple values of the same data types. And a variable can store a group of values at all same type. The values are stored together in consecutive memory locations. That is the definitions of array. Okay, next let's go to the program. Okay, for this program I've declared an array and used the for loop to run my program. Okay, here we declare the array and is an array of 10 integers, and straight we go to the loop. Okay, before the loop we initialize elements of the array n to 0. That means in this case we are going to use 10. So it's from n to 0, and for int this is the for int I is equal to 0 and I should be less than 10 and I plus plus. Okay, and this is the sum. That means with array values we are going to add it with 100. Next, and this is how we're going to output our, not output, we want it to be declared in a table form. Okay, next let's go to output each array element's value, and this is for the number of rows basically, and where our values are going to be compiled and showed in the program. And let's check our compiler, and this is how it's gonna be. So we have actually declared elements, and with the space given actually we have declared any value. So for array of 0 to 9, I mean these are the values, and we are adding 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. Because we have stated that I is less than 10, so it ends with 9. And I think that's all. Thank you.